Anyway, someone was asking about, and I'm hoping that you, I know we've talked about it a little bit, but it's like, but let's open this up and just see what comes in. But they were just saying something about like all the question was, what about Stargate? And I watched the movie and the series Stargate, and then I know that there's Stargates. I think, but what do you know of Stargates right now, and what information are you getting, and what maybe is this person asking? What about Stargate?
What about Stargates?
Yeah.
Not really familiar with the Stargate scenario. However, I've had I as you say that it brings in a recall of a client that had us that was the guardian of a Stargate, if I
Yeah, see,
remember.
I remember you saying something like that. It's something
Yeah.
about a Stargate. I remember that, but that could be what they're talking about.
Yeah, so those are like what would you call it? Like the fold-in types, because you're not going through a wormhole that I think, well, I don't know.
Maybe like a portal where you
Like a
can.
portal, yeah.
Mhm.
So, but you
I
can,
mean, portals have to have guardians.
it's
So
my understanding the Stargate is a dial, so you can click it into where you want to go and then you step through and it
that's what
takes you.
it was on the movie and the series.
Yeah. So it's not just a portal to one destination. You can set the frequency codes, whatever,
Right.
dial it in, go where you want to go.
Yeah. And I don't know who wrote that one, but isn't it fun how, this is how we're introduced. And it's like, well, it was on that show. So could it be real? And then here you're saying, well, that's what they were saying. It's what it was.
Okay.
And that's where we've been getting information for a long time from, I mean, like Ray Bradbury. I think that's the one. His information, isn't he the one that did all the Star Trek and a lot of those
Oh,
movies and series?
yeah. See, I didn't follow a lot of those.
Uh-huh.
I think I
Well,
was more
anyway,
quantum
and they
leap
were
guy.
talking about how all those things are, if you look at them and you watch them, and it's like it's amazing that the things that they were using and the things that were happening in them, they're happening now. A large percentage of them are in, we're doing
Yeah,
them.
like it's happening.
Hmm.
Well, and not to get into conspiracy stuff, but the conspiracy stuff does say that we have access to stargates and
Hmm.
portals like that. And um, I want to say, I'm going to throw a name out there. I want to say it was Emery Smith that talked about going down this elevator. And he talks about this on Gaia TV if you guys want to check it out. And that would probably be the place to go because that's where I would have heard it. He went down on this elevator and then they put him on this cart or this container like bus looking thing, and he said he was moving through what he thought was underground tunnels, and then when he got out he went into this office space, and the window, looking out the window, it was space. They looked over, gave him a shocked look, hit a button, and next thing you know, it was a different picture in the window. He
Oh,
didn't know if that meant like he was actually teleported to another planet, what it was. He couldn't say for sure. He was just saying what his experience was. There's a lot of stories out there like that. There's a lot of things that you can dive into that are really kind of interesting.
yeah, I
And
think there's so much more going on. Now, it doesn't have to be conspiracy. These are things, I mean, we've been introduced to these concepts and these ideas. And why wouldn't it be that, we know there are other planets or other dimensions with life. Oh my gosh,
yeah,
such a concept, goodness, mom was talking to ETs how many years ago? And it's like, come on, guys, get over that part.
yeah,
But it's
yeah,
like they're all in these other dimensions and other planets and other vibrations and other frequencies. And, they come here. And so it's like, how is that happening? So see, there's ways, and that's by thought, is what we know. That's what mom got, is that they travel by thought.
yeah,
But to go through into other dimensions and to go through some of these where the distance is so far. I mean, well, here you're back to thought. There isn't any distance when you do that, but
no,
um,
yeah,
why not? These concepts came from somewhere. When you look back at these things, I mean, like that's where mom met the person that's why I was going into Ray Bradbury, was my understanding. I think it was him. Anyway, I'll not say a name that way in case it's wrong, it won't be. But that person stayed with someone who was channeling information, and they were bringing all this fantastic, really cool information in. And this was a long time ago, before channeling was cool, before anybody knew about it, And so,
Yeah.
and they're bringing in all this information about how things happen in other universes and other planets, and all the lives, everything that's going on out there. And so this person was writing all this down and everything, and then later went on to make television programs and movies out of it and everything. So the information behind these is accurate. It's real,
Yeah.
So it's coming
Well,
from this
that
place.
makes
It's like,
sense.
yeah, absolutely. So that's where, we saw it back here, and that's where we were being introduced to the concept. And then now we're here in it, where we're really quite a ways into it now. And a lot of the things that we saw back here in some of these shows that were really broad for our minds at that time. I
Right.
mean, I'm talking back in the 70s. When was Star Trek? 70s, I think.
But yeah, seems like it.
And and that was just like, over our heads. Oh, they were talking on little things all the time, bleep bleep, and these
Yeah.
little had all this information. Our cell phones can do so much more than what their gadgets were that they were talking on. But see,
Yeah.
that's where it comes from. So, but we were being introduced to it, so we could, and it's done in that way that we can grasp it. And so then when these things come in and we're into that timeline and into that place, then it's not, we can accept it more and everything. So it's like, these things are out there.
Like slow disclosure, right?
You just keep describing, okay, Stargate. And I'm like, that's the movie. That's the show. I mean, that's where I'm going. It's like, that's exactly what the show was. Well, who's to say that wasn't a way of introducing us to this concept of we can go to other dimensions, other places in this way, and
well, and we're talking about other dimensions, other places. Even like if you go to I think it's Netflix has the series Flash on it, right? And in the series in Flash, there's multiple Earths, and there's a version of you on each Earth, and it's like, now they're disclosing that, okay, because that also was in some Gaia episodes that I watched where they were talking about, they have a way to move into one of the other alternate Earths, and it's like, we cannot fathom how many things are actually going on.
Right. And you know what just hit me as I was saying the other stuff, and it was like I forgot. I mean, I use the Stargate as an example when we in our class in level 2, I use it as an example of how in hypnosis we're moving from one timeline to another, and this is what we're doing. And it's just like that Stargate. We're disassembling the atoms in the person, and then they get to the other place, and then they're reassembling. And that's why you have to do things in a certain way in the technique. It's because they're doing this. They're actually moving through time.